All right, back for another beer review, and today I'm reviewing yet another beer from the Big Ditch Brewing Company, and they're out of Buffalo, New York. And this is their Make Me Wanna Stout. So they're calling this a coffee and cream stout. In reality, it is a milk stout brewed with coffee. Comes in at 5.2% alcohol by volume and 31 IBUs. And at the time of review, this beer is exactly 2 weeks old, so pretty damn fresh. Now, they have a bit of a spiel here on the back, but the font is like super bold and tough to read, so I'll do my best. It says, we brewed this beer specifically for football Sundays in Western New York. This coffee and cream stout is brewed with Revolution coffee beans from Public Espresso. Then they talk about tasting notes and they say, let's go Buffalo. Contains lactose, brewed with Public Espresso coffee. Please keep refrigerated to preserve freshness. That certainly has been done. So yeah, this is interesting because this was like a surprise release from Big Ditch. A couple weeks ago on Facebook, they announced that they were pulling production of their Excavator Rye Brown Ale. They weren't going to release it in cans anymore. They were going to still have it on tap at the breweries. And in replace of that beer, this one. And I don't know if it's because, you know, Excavator isn't selling all that well, or people aren't clamoring for a Rye Brown Ale. I mean, that's, you know, kind of a niche style, niche beer in general. This one seems to be something that, you know, more of your beer nerds and beer enthusiasts would clamor for. You know, it's a milk stout with coffee. You know, people are interested in this. So at 5.2% though, it's a bit lower than I thought. I thought it might be in like the 6 to 7 range. But yeah, so they brewed this for football Sundays in Western New York. If there's one thing I know about Western New York, we have the Bills, we have the Sabres, and that's kind of life when it comes to the fall and winter time. I know it's sad sometimes for, you know, for people in Western New York, but we live and die by what the Bills and Sabres do. Unfortunately, every single year, they usually suck, especially the Sabres. But the Bills didn't make the playoffs for what, 17 years? They finally did last year. Good for them. But anyway, so yeah, when I saw this, I was like, I got to give it a review because it sounds interesting, and it's one of their core beers, and it's replacing Excavator, and I like Excavator. Maybe I'll actually pick a can up if I can find it and review it, but you know what? Maybe there's no point to it since they're not selling it anymore. Anyway, let's crack this open, get it in a glass, see what we got going on here. So it's funny that they did this for football Sundays because most people, when it comes to like Bills games and whatnot, you know, they're drinking a ton of beer. So I don't know how many of these you could session. Maybe this is like for before you start getting into your session beers. This kind of wakes you up. This will be the beer with the coffee that provides the caffeine instead of your morning coffee. Anyway, pours out this really deep brown color. I wouldn't say it's full on black. It might look black on the screen, but it looks like this murky brown, very deep though. About 1.5 fingers of a mocha colored head, very creamy and compact, bubbles on top. Yeah, that looks awesome. Awesome looking beer, no doubt. Anyway, let's get a nose on it. 2 weeks old. That coffee is screaming, sons. Yeah, tons of coffee. Huge roasted coffee. It's almost like this berry component to it. Vanilla, maybe. Ah, man, that smells like just a great cup of joe. No pun intended. Cup of myself. Nah, nobody wants that. Yeah, lots of like darker, like a mix of like milk and milk chocolate and dark chocolate. A little bit like I said, that vanilla from the lactose. Definitely smells like someone took a really nice cup of coffee, really nice coffee bean in that coffee, and you're adding a little bit of creamer to it. That's what it kind of smells like. Not much else going on, just a lot of coffee, a lot of like roasted malts, vanilla, some milk and dark chocolate. It smells divine. Let's get into it. Cheers. Eric Gilbert, you know what? It's not a bit thin. It's not a bit thin. Eric's been, well, he's not been just giving me shit and other people like Paul over at PA Brew News, because a lot of times when we drink, you know, stouts, he's like, I swear, I think his exact, I'm paraphrasing, let me paraphrase here. I think he said, I swear, if one of you ever find a stout thick, I'm going to have a stroke. Here's the thing. This is 5.2%. This is not thick, but it's not thin. This is appropriate. This is like medium to upper side of medium body. For 5.2, that's a great, it's a great body on it. It does have a little bit of creaminess from that lactose, but it, you know, has a nice carbonation kick to it as well. It's just tasty. I mean, that coffee is huge and bold. 2 weeks old. Now, I don't know how this beer is going to be in 2 months, but fresh, huge coffee. It almost has a slight green coffee component to it. That lactose is providing a bit of vanilla. You have those dark chocolate and milk chocolate notes to it as well. It's pretty cohesive too. Like, I'm not picking out each flavor. Like, it's all blending together quite well. Like I said, higher side of medium body, nice mouthfeel to it. It does finish a bit more bitter than I anticipated based on the nose. That coffee's kind of lingering around, so it's not really a clean finish, but I didn't expect it to be. I'm gonna actually pour the rest of this in. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this in here. Oh yeah. This is pretty sessionable. Now, maybe that bitterness and that coffee becomes a bit too much after a couple of them, but if they brewed this truly for football Sundays, I think people will enjoy having, 2 or 3 of these at, 5.2%. You're not going to get sloshed, although, if you're going tailgating at a Bills game, you're getting sloshed. You might be putting people through tables, the hashtag Bills Mafia, all that stuff, although I think they're trying to ban, or maybe they have banned putting people through tables, which, I agree with it, but, all the memes they have and all the different Twitter videos they have, pretty fantastic. Anyway, as far as this beer is concerned, I'm going to give Make Me Wanna Stout. I'm just yanking my tabletop everywhere. But I'm going to give Make Me Wanna Stout from Big Ditch Brewing Company. I'm going to give this a solid 4 out of 5. I think it's a nice replacement for Excavator. If I had to choose between the two, I'd go with this one. Even though I do like Excavator, I think this is a better choice, and I think more people are going to enjoy this one. So I get why they replaced it. And for me, it's just a really nice, easygoing milk stout with some coffee in it. Like I said, I'd be curious to see how this ages, but I probably wouldn't age it. And considering it's Big Ditch, most of their beer in the Western New York area, you usually can find it under a month old no matter what it is. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for Make Me Wanna Stout from Big Ditch. If you are in the Western New York area and you see this on the shelf, pick it up. Check the date. Make sure, it has relative freshness to it, but pick it up, see what you think, especially if you like milk stouts and or coffee stouts, because this is a pretty tasty one. So appreciate you guys stopping by another review. Until the next one, cheers.